Hello, my dear students. We are back with Maui's kite answer key. So the first question is, how did Maui build his kite? कैसे बनाई थी? Maui built a grand kite for himself by using his mother's largest, strongest piece of cloth for the covering, bamboo stick for the cross pieces, and branches of the olona shrub to make a strong rope. Okay. इस तरीके से बनाई थी. Now coming to question number 2, why did Maui go to the keeper of the winds? Maui went to the keeper of the winds because he wanted to ask for a special wind which could make his kite fly really high. Coming to question number 3, what advice did the keeper give Maui and his friends? The keeper of the winds advised Maui and his friends to respect the winds and to never take them for granted. She told them all the winds would respect them only if they were respected in return. Now coming to 4, what caused the storm? क्या हुआ था? The Maui greed and his belief that he was as strong as the winds led him to disrespect them. He demanded that the keeper of the winds bring out Aipu Nui, the god with help the 4 great winds. Where she refused to do so, he called out to the winds himself, but once the winds were unleashed, he was unable to control them or Aipu Nui, and they caused a huge storm in his village. Now coming to 5, how did Maui came to be known as the teacher of the weather? क्यों उसे टीचर ऑफ द वेदर कहा जाने लगा? आफ्टर द ग्रेट स्टॉर्म, Maui built a smaller kite for himself, which he flew near his house. He would often tie it to be rocked and study its movement in the sky. Soon he became an expert in prediction weather conditions. He warned people when it was about to rain or when a storm was approaching, and since his prediction came true, his neighbors began to rely on his advice and started respecting him once again. It was in his way that Maui came to be called the teacher of the weather. Now coming to B, how is the Maui at the end of the story different from the Maui we see at the beginning? In the beginning of the story, Maui is an arrogant boy who believes that he is as strong as the 4 great winds. He is selfish and does not pay attention to the keeper's advice about respecting the winds. But after the mighty storm, Maui learns his lesson and becomes more respectful of nature. He begins to observe the winds and learns to predict the weather. He uses his knowledge to help the people and wins back their trust. While earlier he was known as he who brought the great storm, he now comes to be referred to as the teacher of the weather. Now coming to B, what do we learn about nature from this story? This story teaches us to respect nature. Human beings can never match up to the power of nature. They can only hope to try and learn its ways through careful observation. The story also shows us that nature can be kind to us if we respect it, but it can also turn violent and cruel when we disobey its laws. Now coming, who says to whom and why? ठीक है, किसने कहा था? Oh wind, 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 oh hello, come gently, come mildly. These words were spoken by the keeper of the winds. She used them to call upon the gentle winds of Aiki, which would help Maui fly his kite. Coming to question number 2. O winds mighty as the gods return to Aipu Nui. Maui said this an attempt to control the mighty winds of Aipu Nui, which were becoming increasingly violent. Tomorrow will be a better day to work in the fields. Maui said this to men who were going to work in the fields. He had observed the weather carefully and had predicted that it would rain the next day. He wanted to warn the men in advance. Now, appreciating the text, all countries have their own fables and legends that are passed on their generation to generation. Why do you think such stories are told? The characters appearing in fables and legends are often shown to go through some struggle and then learn someone from it. These stories often come with moral lessons are told to others, especially children, in order to teach them important values. After that, coming to grammar, choose the correct determiners and complete these sentences. If any confusion in determiners, I have already uploaded a video on determiners. You can just check it out. Now, coming to grammar A. So, answer number 2 is any or some, another, first, those or much, and 5. And then B. 2 is thirsty, difficult, your, world famous, which, these, and mouth watering. And after that, words in use. Question number 2 is why are you angry? I asked her for forgiveness. The police had knowledge of the criminal. The famine caused many deaths in the village. And then B. Second is the baby is stirring in its sleep. Maybe it's because of the mosquitoes. All the sports teams paraded proudly around the stadium holding their flags. I read your letter with delight. I turned around when I felt a tug on my sleeve. I need to get my watch fixed. The strap just snapped when I was putting it on. My sister said she was busy, but I coaxed her to drop me at school. The doctor told me to shun junk food if I want to stay healthy. And last is writing. Okay, so this is already the last page. So, writing you can copy if you need. Okay, these are some points how Maui became teacher of the wind. Arrange the points in the correct order and expand them into sentences. Okay, hope it helps you. Complete your notes carefully.